Hello, lovely people. Welcome once again to Abenasia's Recipes. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you my tomato paste recipe or tomato puree. I have 30 pounds of fresh tomatoes, 2 large bell peppers, and then I have 2 beetroots. Beets are loaded with nutrients and antioxidant, superfood, and a great addition to tomato paste. I'll begin by washing my fresh tomatoes thoroughly. It is very important to wash your fruits and vegetables very well before using it for a recipe. And while washing my tomatoes, I make sure to remove the eye of the tomatoes. We definitely don't want that in our tomato paste. Now let's begin cutting the tomatoes. So I've cut my tomatoes in half, and then I'll squeeze out all the seeds, or I will remove the seeds out of the tomatoes. And I'm using a strainer to collect the seeds with a bowl underneath the strainer. And before I'll cut my tomatoes up, I need to remove the stalks. So I've removed that and I'm cutting my tomatoes in pieces. And then I'll put it in my pot. So I'll keep cutting the tomatoes in half and then squeeze out the seeds into the strainer. And then I'll remove the stalk from the tomatoes. And then I'll cut my tomatoes up in small pieces. This process took me about 30 to 40 minutes to complete. But guys, it is worth it. No preservatives, no chemicals, but rich and nutritious tomato paste. All of my tomatoes is all done cutting up. So I am using a wooden grinder to squeeze out all the juice from the seeds. The juice is part of the making of the tomato paste. And this is optional. You don't have to add it to it. You can actually reserve this for tomato juice, but I'm gonna add it to my tomatoes, guys. I'm not leaving anything out. So once that is added to it, I'll then begin cooking my tomatoes down. And cooking the tomatoes takes between 4 to 6 hours to get it to your preferred texture. And so I've put it on, and now I've thoroughly washed my bell peppers and my beets. I'll cut that up and then set that on the side. And once that is done cutting up, this is optional. You can add a tablespoon of white vinegar to the beets and the bell peppers. I highly recommend you add beetroots to your tomato paste. It is rich in antioxidant and it helps flush out toxins from our body. And it is an immune booster. So you want to make your tomato paste healthy, number one, and also rich in vitamins. So I highly recommend you add this, and it is a beautiful and a great addition to the tomato paste. So guys, what do you think about the beets being added to my tomato paste? Please comment down below and let me know what you think. 30 minutes after my tomatoes is been cooking, I will give it a stir. And yes, guys, I will be cooking my tomatoes for about 5 hours. I'll be stirring my tomatoes periodically. Every 10 to 15 minutes, I'll stir my tomatoes. And I'll be leaving my tomatoes uncovered to cook. 2 hours later, guys, look at it. It has cooked down, and as you can see, it has decreased in size. Yes, so I'll give it a stir, and we'll be cooking this until the water has reduced, guys. 4 hours later, look at it. The water has reduced very much. So this is the time to add my beets and my bell peppers. I'll be combining these two pots together into one big pot of tomato paste. It is time to add my beets and my bell peppers. And like I said, I added about a tablespoon of vinegar onto my beets and my bell peppers. I'll give it a mix and I'll allow it to cook for about 20 minutes, enough time for the beets to soften. so that my blender can be able to blend it very nice and smoothly. It's been about 15 minutes since my beets and my bell peppers went into the tomatoes. I'll remove it from the stove and then I'll begin blending my tomatoes. When blending your tomato paste, please be careful to not splash the tomatoes all over, especially if you have a white backlash. So be very careful. It can make a lot of mess, but you need to be wiping before the beet stains on any of your counters. Look at how beautiful and smooth my tomato paste looks. It looks amazing already, guys. So I am done blending, and look at that beautiful texture. You can leave it just like this if that is what you prefer. I'm just gonna let mine simmer for about 30 minutes to reduce it to a thick paste. The beet also serve as a thickener to the tomato paste, so you can add more beets if you prefer. And look at it. I have a beautiful tomato puree / tomato paste, and I allowed it to cool down before wrapping it to freeze. I'm super happy with the outcome. These are all 6 ounces of tomatoes wrapped in a cling wrap, and I'll be freezing them. And I got 24 tomato paste or tomato puree out of this recipe. And if you're a new subscriber, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for subscribing. God bless you. I appreciate you guys so much for your support. Thank you for always watching. Please kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. You like and you comment and you give me a big thumbs up if you think this tomato paste came out really good. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please stay safe and have a good one. Bye.